we're about to go live on YouTube. So hopefully you're okay with that. Any other questions? Or any concerns or anything we can address?
Yes, I have a question. So if I want to send Jomek's mom, so if I want to send Jomek just 2 days a week, just to have the social skills that I want him to have, almost for it's gonna be a year that he's at home. So if I wanna just 2 days a week, maybe Tuesday and Thursdays, just for that, he don't have any struggle at school and with any class, but I just want to know if I can send him just to have a social person to person.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw that comment in your survey response. So thank you for that. What I would recommend is for Yomek to come to school during the tutoring sessions for that. Those will be more social. And we recognize that our students are starved for social interactions. And so I don't know if this will happen so much in tutoring, but that's really where the face-to-face, like working with another adult and other kids in the same classroom or in the commons together, that's really where that will come in. The actual 8 to 1, and I see your hand, Mr. Clashy, I'll definitely let you jump in on this, but the 8 to 1 is going to be more like individual kids are going to need to wear their headphones and they'll be working in the commons, and everyone will be kind of zoned out or zoomed out, I should say. They'll be zooming in their classes, right? So there won't be a great chance to socialize, but it will be a good workspace. And if that's something that Yomek would benefit from, I think we can provide that. We don't have a lot of feedback from that survey, so I'd like to give it a little bit more time, and we'll be prioritizing students based on their needs and based on teacher input as well. But if we can offer that, we certainly would, for sure. So thanks for those of you who are just joining us. I apologize for sending out the wrong link this afternoon. Unfortunately, that made you go to put in a password, and the password was unavailable. So it looks like you all successfully made it to the correct link. So thank you for being here. Does anyone have a pressing question? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Clashy.
I just had a comment regarding the student that we just spoke about, because I do have him in class and he rocks the class. So I really think from my experience with him that the after school tutoring is going to do much more for him. But I'd also like to know if he has by any chance been going to the chess club. Because that's Tuesdays and Thursdays right after school, I think. Mm-hmm. And it's really a couple of the other students who have been looking for something social, something where they can get together just to hang out with other students. The chess club has really been filling that need, and so I'd like to recommend that for him too. Although if I happen to be a teacher who's doing Tuesday or Thursday study, after school study, I'd rather have him there than chess club because he's a delight. But that's me. His needs, chess club might be more important.
Thanks. Yes, we do have multiple clubs he could join in. And we've also got some upcoming student activities. Friday night movie night, and then next Thursday we've got a lock-in. So that's a fun way to interact. I know it's not face-to-face, but yes, I see a hand. Unfortunately, I don't see your name. So go ahead and take the mic.
Go ahead. Okay, I have a question. So when you're saying is when they come back, they can go 5 days straight, or you can pick the days you want to send them to the school?
It would be a sign up process. And so then what we'll do is contact you and let you know if there's a seat available. From 8 to 1, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday. And you can choose just one of those days, or if we have room for all 4, you could choose all 4. But again, you weren't here for this. Let me reiterate, there won't be any face-to-face instruction in the building. It will just be a workspace for students to access their learning through Zoom. We will have a couple of teachers working in the building, but I don't anticipate many more, unless, like Alex just asked, if the vaccine makes it possible for us to work safely in the building, then and ASD stops that telework agreement, then we'll all be back in the building.
So all the students going back, they need the vaccine, or it's optional?
Yeah, we've got we sent out a survey for the sign up for that option.
And I think you mentioned the vaccine. The vaccine will not be available for anybody under the age of 18. So there wouldn't be any type of expectation that a student would have to have the vaccine to be able to come to the building. It's not even available for anyone under the age of 18. So that's not something that comes into play at all when we think about even small group return or face-to-face return Q4.
Yep. Mr. Birmingham, you had your hand up and then you took it down.
Yeah, I interpreted her question a little different. I interpreted her question asking about Q4. Is it 5 days a week? And can parents choose during that Q4 which days a student comes to school or not?
Got it. Was that your question about Q4 once we're back face to face?
Was that it?
Yeah. So we're still looking at that and still waiting for some guidance on our reopening for Q4. We definitely have all of our ducks in a row in terms of how we will interact with one another once we're back in the building and everyone is face to face. I'm still working with our staff to ensure that we can give you the option and still give you the educational experience that, or give your son or daughter the educational experience that they deserve and that we know we can offer them. But we still do want to offer the choice to you to send your child back into the school Q4 or to work to work synchronously and asynchronously from home. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, fabulous. Right. Any other questions about Q3 or Q4 re-entry?
Amy, I was just hoping you might be able to share with everyone the safety precautions that we have in place for anyone who is coming in during that time.
Absolutely. And Ms. Crosby, feel free to jump in, Mr. Birmingham too, or Mr. Clouchy, anyone, any staff member, feel free to jump in. So we will be maintaining social distancing as best we can. We currently are looking at, for Q4, we've got all of our rosters built already, so we know how many students are going to be in each classroom. And we've got sanitizer stations that we will be putting up probably on the outside of each classroom. We're still trying to figure out if we want to wall mount those or put those on like a stool that the teacher can physically move into the classroom. There will be cleaning as a class leaves, and then more sanitizing and disinfecting as a new class arrives. Our passing period will be eliminated essentially, where students in the past have had 5 minutes to socialize and hang out and just not be in a classroom for a little bit. So we'll have a one-way directional travel, and students will need to go directly to class. We won't be using the bathrooms during passing period, and instead we are looking at having each individual class, once class is in session, go on a 10-minute break on a rotational schedule essentially, so that we've only got 20 students in the hallway at one time. or potentially using the restroom. And, you know, we're not 50-50 boys and girls. So looking at the bathroom use, we would try to keep well, we wouldn't try to, we would limit the bathroom use to 4 students at a time. We would continue with the schedule of 5.5 hours a day, where class gets out at 1 o'clock and lunch is eaten off campus. Ms. Crosby, what am I missing?
Just one thing that I wanted to add, for more detailed information and for an outline, our school safety plan, along with all of the other schools in the district, is going to be available on both ASD's website and the Highland Academy website. So everything that Ms. Johnson listed, which is quite a few things, all of those will be listed and available to parents before, and community members before there is a return to school as well.
Yep, so we submitted those to secondary ed, and they're reviewing those and essentially vetting them before they go live and are published on the website. So those were submitted a couple of weeks ago. We've got 2 hands up. So whoever gets the mic first gets to ask the question.
So in the third quarter, they're gonna be back to the first classes that they took before? Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, for the most part, everybody will return back to their original classes. There may be some adjustments because we did have some students that leveled up after the first quarter, things like that. So we do have a couple of schedule shifts, but everybody will be attending advisory from 8 to 9:25, and then they'll go to block 1. There'll be the snack break, and then they'll end their day in block 2. Very, very similar, if not identical, to their first quarter.
If if the student improve the level, every teacher will let us know individual.
Yeah, status reports will be coming out. We're hoping for next Friday, and we'll be sending out information about how to access those, because we are moving towards a 21st century tool, and that is using Empower to house those, so that you'll be able to see quarter after quarter, you'll be able to compare those reports next to each other instead of mailing those home physically. Yes, so Christine, you had a question.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed the beginning of the meeting, but could you explain a little about the tutoring? Is that a for sure thing, just an hour of tutoring, and will the teachers rotate, or could you?
Sure. So we currently have 3 staff members who, so this is all voluntary. So we're not forcing any staff members to come in and help with tutoring, but we've got 3 staff members who would like to volunteer to do this, and they'll get paid an addendum. So don't worry, they're not giving up their time, but they have volunteered to do this. And we're still working out the details of the schedule, but it will be available Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, at a minimum from 1:30 to 2:30, and potentially till 3:30, 2, 3, or 4 of those days. So it might be a 1-hour session on Monday and Friday, but it will likely be a 2-hour session Tuesday, Thursday. So we'll get that final schedule out to you once we've got that ironed out. And then I'd also like to note that if there are teachers that are willing to tutor but aren't willing to come into the building, that we might be able to work that out too, where teachers can be available on Zoom from 1:30 to 2:30 or 3:30.
Is there going to be a maximum number of students allowed in the building at a single time during a tutoring session?
That one, we're really only limited by the physical space and by the supervision of the adults in the building. So a lot of that depends on where the students are working and where the teacher is working. But based on the survey results, I'm not sure if we have 100% yet, but based on the survey results, I think there won't be a waiting list for that. I think we should be able to meet everyone's needs for that tutoring session. Mr. Clashy?
And to clarify that, if I am one of the people who is doing one of those, which I hope to be, it's not limited to my students that day, or it's not limited to social environments work that day.
Right.
really, Ms. Crosby can probably speak to this more clearly. Most of the teachers in the building are highly qualified in more than one subject. So, for instance, I'm highly qualified for 6th through 12th grade for social studies, 6th through 12th grade for language arts, 6th through 10th for math. So it isn't going to be just limited to social environment students on the days that I'm there. It's going to be whoever is signed up there, and we're helping them however we can.
Correct. Yep. 2 of the staff members that have volunteered are teachers, and one is a TA. So one of our teachers is humanities, and that's Mr. Kashi, and the other is a STEM teacher, and that's Mr. Kellerby, who has taught math and science, mostly science, but he's taught some math. Does that help?
And I don't know which TA it is, but both of our TAs that we have are multi-talented in all of the curriculum. So
yeah, and really know how to help kids too. All right. Well, let's see. We've got -1 minute. Actually, our APC meeting is about to start. So I wanted to give a final chance to ask a question live via Zoom. But I hope that you know that Ms. Crosby and I are always available for questions, and it can be over email, or feel free to call the school, and Miss Donna will answer the phone and will leave one of us a message. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. And then for those of you who are here for the Q&A, if you'd like to stay around for the APC meeting, which is about to start, you certainly are welcome to do that. And if not, unless there are any final questions, then we'll move into the meeting. Okay. Well then, Alex, I will turn it over to you, and I'll get going on my documents in the background so that I can share the screen with the agenda and the minutes.
Okay, I guess we will get started here. We have to determine if we have a quorum. I can't see everybody there, but do we have a quorum?
Looks like we've got John and Shelley and Todd and Laura and Jim and Ulf and Brenda. Looks like we have a quorum.
Okay.
And Megan.
Going through the pages there. So we determined that we got a quorum. So we'll call the meeting to order here at 6 o'clock, 6:03. And we got it up there. We need a motion to approve the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion.
I make a motion. Go ahead, Laura.
Okay, we got a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
Second.
Okay. All right, motion and second. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of approving the agenda say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Okay, no naysayers, so we have an agenda approved here. And we'll move down to item number 3, approval of minutes.
Alex, just 1 minute. Can we just make sure that Megan got all that down, who moved and who approved?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I just want to make sure she knows Laura moved, and then was it Shelley that seconded?
Yep, I got it. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Okay, I'll make sure I not go too fast. Okay, the next item, number 3, approval of minutes. I'm not sure if everyone had a chance to read them. They're up here now so you can look at them. And when someone would like to, they can make a motion to approve the minutes after you've had a chance to read them. So do we
I
have
make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Was that Brenda?
Yes.
Okay, Brenda.
This is Jim. I'll second.
Okay, we got a second on it. Discussion. Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Okay, the ayes have it. So we now have the minutes approved. Item number 4, public comments. You have 2 minutes, participants, if anyone has some public comments they want to make. Do we have any? Okay, hearing no response to those, we'll move to item number 5, principals report, and under that, the reentry plan update. We've gone over part of that, but go ahead.
I'm sorry, Alex, did you turn it over to me or were you asking someone a question?
Oh, yeah, go ahead, if you don't mind. I was just, it's
Okay. So welcome everyone, and Joey just joined us, so welcome Joey. I wanted to start off with a student showcase and a teacher showcase, and unfortunately I couldn't get a hold of this student in time to make sure that I could use her first and last name and a picture, and I was going to get a short bio about this student. But we have a student named Danica, and Danica has been at Highland since I think 6th or 7th grade. She's been here for a while. She's currently a 10th grader. And one of the reasons I wanted to showcase her is because she is one of our students that is always asking for more. Is there any way I can get ahead in this level? Is there any way I can get more homework so that I can get advanced in this level? She is very, very driven and very focused on her future. And it really is, it's inspiring to me. She inspires me. And so I wanted to highlight Danica. She's also a student that was asking, how can I get college credit as a high schooler? And, what are my options? I'd like to lay them all out and make sure I know exactly what my options are. And she actually pushed us to create a new option for students. And we approached the PTSO last month and asked them if they would be interested in considering a scholarship fund for students enrolled at Highland to take college courses. And of course, they're so supportive. They said, yes, of course, that's exactly why we're here. We'd love to do that. So they were able to commit to $2,000 a semester for scholarships, which could pay for up to 3 to 4 classes. And we've got an application process now for all high school students. We're focusing on 11th and 12th graders, but we don't want to limit it to them. And we're working on creating a panel of application reviewers so that it's not just on one person, and that panel would be a mixed group of people from lots of different backgrounds to make sure that we are fair and able to support students. So we love it when we get these questions. How can I get some college credit while I'm in high school? Or how can I do this? How can I do that? And it just makes us a better organization, especially when we've got strong support from our community. So thanks to the PTSO and thanks to Danica. She definitely got her application in quickly once we got that out. So that's very exciting. And then I also wanted to share a teacher showcase. One of our newest teachers is Ms. Rowe. She started at Highland last school year. And let's see if I have this all queued up and ready to go. I think I do. Let's see. Wait for it. Oh, I'm in my present. Okay, here we go. So one of the things that we did at the beginning of Q2 was we had a virtual open house where each teacher shared a 1-minute Flipgrid video. And as you can see, there were some really classics out there. So I wanted to share Miss Rose with you, and then I'll share a little bit about her when this is over.
Hi everyone, my name is Christy Rowe, and this is my second year at Highland. I am teaching Math 1 and Math 3 this year, as well as this quarter I'm teaching Genius Hour, which is an elective where students get to work on passion projects and actually go through the process of doing a project proposal, research, project implementation, and presenting out the results from their project. I'm super excited for this, and just school in general this quarter. It's super fun to get to know all the new students and to see returning students engaged in our Highland community. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right. So I had the great pleasure of observing an observation in Ms. Rowe's class. And a lot of our teachers are using Pear Deck this year to improve engagement and just make what they're doing in class more tangible for students in a digital way. So Pear Deck is a really cool program that actually the PTSO offered to pay for us to have a subscription to, but then we asked ASD and they said, sure, we'll add you to the pilot group. So we're very grateful to ASD for doing that for us and to the PTSO for considering it. But in this observation, I got to watch her engage with students in a way that was so great. Students didn't have to raise their hand. Students were answering questions, and it was anonymously, except that she could see what they were answering. So she could tell if students were struggling. And it was just beautiful. It was remarkable to see her adjusting in real time, even though some students had their camera off and they weren't grabbing the mic whenever they had something to say. So it was really neat to see her interacting with students in this way. So I wanted to share that. And then I've got another big celebration. We've got a list of students who have perfect attendance this semester. They've attended every single Zoom session, and Ms. Doherty put this list together for us. And unfortunately, I don't have that on my report tonight, but there were about 10 or 12 students who have had perfect attendance since August. So that's really exciting, especially given how easy it might be to not go to class one day. So we're really excited about that. Any questions about the celebrations or anything you'd like to share?
I just appreciate that you're sharing them. That's great. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. All right, so quarter three, here's a visual about some of the things we were talking about in the Q&A. We, for quarter three, are going to continue distance learning via Zoom for all students. That's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. We'll continue with our asynchronous Wednesdays. And so those two things will stay the same for quarter three. The new things are as follows. We're going to work on allowing 8 to 10 students in the building Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And these students will be working in the commons and will be supervised by Ms. Crosby and or myself. And they'll have their Chromebook and they'll have their headphones and they will be zooming into their classes. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm not sure yet for quarter three how many staff members will be working in the building. It depends on a lot of things. So that's still unknown. And as far as I know, the telework agreement is still in effect until it becomes null and void. So we really are limited by bandwidth. And I've got some ideas on how to increase that so that we can get some more students in the building, because that seems like an easy thing to overcome, an easy issue to overcome. We worked as teachers last week in our staff meeting to identify some of the students that we would recommend for a face-to-face option like this. And then we also put out a survey to parents because we want to make sure that it's all of the stakeholders involved that are identifying these students. And we recognize that there's a wide variety of needs. Like we just heard tonight, a mother was saying, academically, he's fine. He just needs some socializing. So we've got a variety of needs, and we've sort of prioritized those needs based on what we know about the students and their workspace at home and their headspace too, head and heart space. And then also how much time they have until graduation. That's another prioritization factor. So then we talked about after school tutoring. And like I mentioned, we've got 3 staff members who are willing to do that face-to-face. And we can provide that Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday for either 1 or 2 hours. And then we really want to give seniors a space in the building on Wednesdays. And we've got 22 seniors, I think, if Ms. Crosby's here, she can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we've got 22 seniors / graduates that are aiming for May of 2021. So we wanted to give them a chance to be in the building and really lean on each other and continue building that level of connection within their cohort. As you know, so those of you who have been in the building with working in the building, this last semester is a major push for our grads, and they really need each other. So Ms. Crosby and I will be working with those students, and we've invited our grad advisors to come in on those days too, if they'd like to connect with kids. And when I mentioned this to Daryl, who has our full support, he said, well, how are you going to keep them from socializing? I mean, they're starving for socialization. And I said, I know, we're going to make them socialize. We're going to give them the parameters with which to do this, and you know, have them in team builders and all kinds of things that are COVID safe measures. Like we can do this within these measures and ensure that they are safe and still get a chance to interact with one another and talk about important things and have a meaningful experience. So that's where we are for Q3. Like I said earlier, the secondary division has stated they won't be starting any earlier than the beginning of Q4. And so, you know, with the vaccine coming out and knowing that that gets shipped to Alaska every month, I'm more optimistic that we actually will start face-to-face in March. And I really look forward to that day. And you know, it's mixed emotions for sure, because it can be scary and a lot of us feel apprehensive about it, but I cannot wait to see our students back in the building again. Any questions about our Q3 plan, or you know, feel free to poke holes in it. If there's something we're missing, I'm definitely open to that from the board. Or you don't have to be from the board. You can be a community member who's joining us tonight too.
Hey, can I introduce myself really quick? Or...
Oh, sure. Yeah. So we're going to pause in the principal's report, and I'll be addressing this in a minute, but Orlandis, this is a great time for you to introduce yourself. Would you like me to start off to introduce you?
Oh, sure.
Okay, so Orlandis is a student at Highland, and Orlandis, you're a junior, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, Orlandis is a junior, and just today he submitted an application for the student seat on the APC. So we've now got 2 applications that I need to share with you, but Orlandis is here to just tell you a little bit about himself. So take it over, Orlandis.
Yep. Well, I've been a student since 6th grade at Highland for the better part of 5 or so years. Yeah, just wanted to introduce myself, trying to become a student member. So yeah, I look forward to potentially working with you all. And, thanks for the opportunity.
All right, thanks, Orlandis. Does anyone have a question for Orlandis? Okay.
I've got a quick one. I'm sorry. I'm trying to drive and be on my phone and everything. Multitasking, not good. So I've got a question for you, Orlandis. Why do you want to join our board?
I heard it would be a good leadership opportunity. Like I said, I've been a student for quite a long time. Hear a little bit of what you guys do has to do with getting the classes organized and budgeting and all that. And I think that kind of sounds around my alley, up my alley, something like that. Yeah.
Orlando's also,
Thank you.
Orlando's also left us and transferred to a neighborhood school for a year, and then returned back to Highland. So that does happen, and he's got a unique perspective on education too.
Awesome. Thanks, Orlandis.
Yeah.
All right. So here's my next item, budget updates. I had many phone conversations and email exchanges with our budgeting team, ASD's budgeting team. And I learned a lot about the hold harmless provision. It is not a clause, it is a provision. And it's actually once you get the hold harmless provision, once you're approved for that, it's an automatic approval process, and it starts when your enrollment is 5% below what you projected as a district. And then every school that was 5% below what was projected essentially got some hold harmless provision funding. And we were very lucky to get that this year, but essentially that's a 3-year program. And what I learned after our last board meeting was that the students between 164.26 projected and 104.45 projected, we only get 50% of that base student allocation. And so when I came to you last month, I said we need to project 185 in order to maintain our program as it stands now. That was inaccurate because I was using the calculations that we've always used and not the hold harmless provisions calculations. So I went back to the drawing board, and I met with the treasurer, and we ran some numbers, and this is an action item for later, but I'd like to propose that last month we voted to project 185. And what I'd like you to consider this month is to change that to 195. And in asking the leadership, ASD leadership, if that was fiscally responsible to project 10 more than we had voted on. They said that it was definitely not exorbitant, that was a good number, but that they recommended we have a contingency plan in case we fall below that, which makes perfect sense. So that's an action item. I just wanted you to know that the numbers that I gave you last month, I wish I had the email in front of me so I could read it to you, but it basically said, well, that calculation would have been right on last year, but not this year. And so I'm learning more about that hold harmless provision and what that means for us. So Ms. Crosby and I are working hard on a robust marketing program and partnerships with other charter schools. There's a big push from our correspondence charter schools to bring students back to ASD. And so I'm working with those principals to see if there's something we can do to hop on that bandwagon. And Ms. Crosby and I are working on ideas for virtual school tours with students, giving those tours, and then with the idea of having some parent testimonials either woven throughout those tours or at the end. And also have those that are willing to do this do short video clips to put on our website. Because we realize that what we are relying on right now is word of mouth. And that's not a bad thing when we've got social media everywhere around us. Word of mouth is a good thing. But what we need is that what now, right? So when people come to our website, we need to have it like kapow. Here is the compelling story. Here is our why. Here is why Highland, right? So we want to make sure we're doing that next step. And then reaching out to our families to let their people, to let their villages know why they come to Highland and what's working. And we get these great emails that are very affirming of all of the work that we're doing, and it's great. It makes me feel awesome. But I really want to get those messages out to our community members and potential community members. So, are there questions about my miscalculations or about our plan moving forward? I do have one more thing to add. Yesterday, we found out that ASD is projecting 3% lower than they projected last year. 3% lower. So if we were to mirror that, then we would be projecting 1 or 2 students below 195. No, 6 students below 195. We'd be projecting 190, I guess, essentially, right, on average. So we're definitely within a normal and regular ballpark if we project 195. And Brenda, feel free to jump in and add anything at any time. Brenda's our treasurer.
Okay, if I can hit the button and drive. Sorry, I'm trying to get home from work. I think that's basically everything we talked about, and everything that we were looking at is hopefully now that the vaccine is real, and we can look at definitely by next year, we're going to be back in school, and hopefully we can market it with everything going on like we had discussed, and you'd put in your profile that we should be able to get back up to at least close to what we were thinking.
Yeah. Okay, so just to clarify those student tours, we've got a tour guide process that we've relied on in the past. And if you've been on a school tour, they're all student led. And sometimes they're student government students, and sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're just tour guides who really want to become tour guides. And so we have a training process, and we've got a couple of really great veteran tour guides. So we'll definitely put that out to student government if they're interested in getting trained to be a tour guide. It'd be fun to have them on the virtual tour as well. And that's a cool thing about virtual tours. We can have all kinds of students and many students since it's a virtual tour. So that will be cool. And for years, I've been meaning to film these tours, but there's never been the perfect tour where the people coming are comfortable being filmed and the students are comfortable being filmed. So this will be great to have this on our website and documented and available anytime. One more thing I was going to add, I was thinking about reaching out to ASD's communications team to see if they could put together a professional video of the tour for us so that it's not just me on my iPhone walking around following students and then editing that later. So I'll definitely be looking into that to see if that's a possibility and how much that might cost. And that is all I have for the principal's report.
And Amy,
what was the count
sorry.
during Oasis the past couple of years? Oh, sorry, Brenda.
You're fine. Go ahead.
Okay. What did you say the count was, Amy, the past 3 years during Oasis?
We've been slowly ticking up. I think 3 years ago we were at about 170, and then 2 years we were at 180, and then this year, starting this school year, we were up to 205. And that was the beginning of the school year. But then by Oasis, we were down to 165. We lost a lot at the very beginning of the school year. So we're low.
And that was the other comment I meant to make when I was talking, is a lot of those kids that we lost ASD lost. It wasn't just us. They left ASD. And that is our plan going to next year, and where Amy's going to work with some of the other charter schools to work on getting those kids back into the ASD program and ideally getting those kids back to us. So that should also help our numbers for next year.
Yeah, for sure.
Have we had a chance to try to reach out and, to any of those families yet, or is that kind of subsequent to the process you're doing with the other charter schools?
I wouldn't say we need to wait for the other charter schools for that to happen. It hasn't happened yet. The budget is due tomorrow, and with Q3 planning and Q4 planning, I've got lots of reasons why it's not done. But I am anticipating doing that before next Friday, even if it's just, you know, an initial email to people who were registered at the beginning of the year and then left, to see how it's going and if they've thought about coming back to Highland next year. Thank you for asking, Shelley.
Any other questions, Amy? Okay, I guess with that, we're complete with the principal's report. And so we will move on to item number 6, meeting the mission of the charter. And under that sub-item A, student members.
Yes, so we do have 2 applications right now for the student seat. And my apologies for not getting those out to you ahead of time for tonight's meeting. I think we've still got our 2 applicants here with us, or at least one of them. Oh no, we've got both of them here. And I recognize that you haven't had a chance to review those, so I'm looking for guidance on how you'd like to proceed. I could either project those and show those applications, and then we could discuss them as a group, or if we need to send them out and have a special meeting, or maybe not a special meeting, but a committee meeting to review those applications. I'm not sure that we have a process for this.
Do you have any comments on that?
I do. I feel like it would be respectful of both applicants not to discuss each of them in front of each other and look through what they have written and said about why or their application comments. So it's special session, executive session, whatever we want to call it. But I think we as a board, not in an open meeting, should review applications.
I second that.
Okay. Was that in the form of a motion initially?
It was a comment.
Oh, comment, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And I was supporting of that comment. I don't know how to make that into a motion, but.
Okay, what would you like to make the motion then?
Yes, I move that for student member application consideration that Highlands APC convene in a private session to review applications.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to go into add a special session, special meeting. Did we get a second on that?
I second that.
Okay, that's okay. We got the motion and the second discussion.
I have a question.
Yep.
Yeah.
When we say special meeting, we're not saying executive session. So to clarify, we would receive the applications and then we're going to have a special session, not tonight, to review those and make a decision. It's a clarifying question.
Yeah, that's my understanding, is that we're talking about a separate meeting with one item, probably one item, and that would be the item to discuss that and to make a choice. Am I correct on that? But are we all
as the maker of the motion, I would propose that the language just say private reading of the applications. Does not have to be a formal session. It can be disseminated through email. We privately digest the information, and then we can have discussion and an agenda item to vote for.
I appreciate that adjustment.
Okay.
And just to clarify, that would be in our next meeting and not in a special meeting. Is that what you mean?
Correct.
And would that be in
the
an
process would
executive
include
session
that
of
it
that
would not.
meeting?
The process would be that we privately review the application material, come up with our opinion. At the next meeting, the agenda item would be to select the new member as a group.
I think that makes sense.
Okay, yeah. So then basically, if I'm hearing it right, we're going to table it until the next meeting. Am I correct on that?
Well,
we're going
here,
to
the
take
candidates here, so this might be a time for questions. But I don't know if they're if all the candidates aren't here and only some of them are here, then I don't think it's appropriate right now.
Right.
But are they here?
Yes, they're both here. And I know Ava was thinking of applying, but I've reached out to her and haven't heard back. So maybe she changed her mind.
I can talk for Ava. She decided to withdraw her interest.
Okay, I figured since I hadn't gotten her application.
So then do we want to hear from both candidates tonight and have some questions available?
Right now, there's a motion on the floor that hasn't been voted on.
Okay. Any more discussion on it? Shelley, did you get the motion exactly as was put?
Megan, did you understand that?
Megan, I'm sorry.
I have Todd moved to privately discuss and review the 2 student member applications and select the new student member at the next meeting in January.
Okay.
Is that?
Sounds right.
Is that good? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, any more discussion? Hearing none. All of those in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Okay, the ayes have it then. So we will put that on for the next. Okay. Are we good to go? I can't look at everybody at the same time here to make
No,
sure
it's
we're on.
hard.
All right. Okay, so we can move on then. Need admission of student members. Okay, that was item A, B, budget.
I have a question before we move on to budget.
To Claire, yeah, please, Shelley, because I think you're reading my mind. Go.
Okay, I thought we were going to hear from both candidates and then have us available to ask questions of them before we left the student part, even though we're not voting tonight. Is that accurate? Is that what you were thinking, Laura?
Yes, we heard from Orlandis, and I just think it'd be fair to make sure we've heard from or hear from both. I think Orlandis had his time, but yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Gotcha. Okay.
As far as the asking all the questions and everything, except for very general questions, it's going to be hard because we haven't reviewed their applications at all.
Fair.
Should we leave it up
You can
to?
always ask the same question that Brenda asked Orlandis, and that would make it pretty.
Yeah.
The general question.
Yes. And at least give him a chance to be asked a question.
So if I'm here, if I've got it right here, what we would want to do at this point is have both candidates discuss their backgrounds and their desires for being in this position. And we won't vote on it at this meeting, but we will take that information to the next meeting. Is that correct? Am I on the right base there?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I guess, Amy, you can bring each of them out. Oh, I can't say bring them out on stage, but so that each of them can make their comments now.
Sure. So why don't I introduce Robert the way I introduced Orlandis, because I don't think I did that last month for Robert when he presented to us. So without further ado, let me announce Robert Morgan has applied for this position as well. Robert has been at Highland since 6th grade, and he is currently a 10th grader. And Robert, I want to talk about his mom, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to talk about Robert. Robert has greatly benefited from our leveling system. So as a 6th grader, he came in way advanced in math, and seemed to be really excited to not just be in a 6th grade math class because he was a 6th grader. So without further ado, I will turn the mic over to Robert and any APC members that want to ask questions after that. Robert?
Yeah, so I'm Robert. Like Miss Johnson said, I've been going here since 6th grade, so going on 5 years now. And my mom has been talking to me about the APC for a couple of years now, and for a while I just ignored it because I figured it was, you know, another thing that she wanted me to do. And then when I actually looked into it, I realized it was actually a cool opportunity, not only as a leadership opportunity for me, but also as a way that I can, you know, benefit my school and community that I'm a part of. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks, Robert.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Robert.
thanks very much. Any other questions, Rob? Okay. Amy, I guess we can move to the next one then, next candidate.
All right, so we've already introduced Orlandis and given everyone a chance to ask him questions, but if looks like he's still here. So if anyone has questions for Orlandis, that would be a good time.
I might have questions for both our candidates after I review the materials. So I think I'd be able to target what I'm really curious about more after that. But it's nice to get a feel for both these young men, and thank you both for applying. And I guess we'll talk to you more next month.
Thanks, John.
Okay then. Do we have any other comments concerning the student members? Okay, so we can move down now to item B, budget.
So are there any questions about the information that I gave you? Or
Amy, you're coming in kind of, I can't hear you too well.
oh, I'm sorry. Are there any questions about what I've shared with you? Is that better?
Yeah, that's much better.
Oh, okay.
Well, if I heard you correctly, it sounds like it would be helpful if we took a revote on our projections and bumped those up from, I think, what were we at, 185 to 195? It sounds like that would be more helpful for our school.
Yes.
So
I move that we reconsider the number we submitted last meeting and amend it to read 195.
Okay, we got a motion on the floor then to reconsider our numbers up to 195. Do we have a second on that?
Laura seconds.
Have a second on that? Discussion.
Todd's got his hand up, or did. Maybe he took it down.
Yeah, I do have a question. Just okay, the related discussion. So that was the 50% was the second year of hold harmless. You said it was a 3-year provision. What's the percentage for the 3rd year? If this projection, if we come in 5% below the proposed 195, what's the hold harmless percentage? for the third year?
My understanding is
one?
that it increases, so it'll increase to 75% within that student, that like 20 some student range. So 20 of our students are getting 50% of the BSA this year. Right, so for
So
next
isn't this the first year?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about this next year's budget. For the 2022 budget, 20 of our students only bring in 50% of that base student allocation. For the 2023 budget, I'm not exactly sure what that range will be. I think it depends on what our final number is, our final OASIS count for next school year. But there would be another range of students, like 15 to 20, I'm guessing, that would only bring in 75%. So essentially it's more of a loan than than a handout.
So the third year, there's going to be more of a percentage that's hold harmless potentially. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, where were we?
We're in the discussion. There was a motion and a second, and now we're discussing.
Okay, is there any further discussion or are we ready?
Hey, this is Jim. Oh, sorry, Kelly. You go ahead.
I have the article in the paper that said if your enrollment drops, because they're talking about the deficit, more than 5% below the provisions fiscal year, it restores some of the funding that would have been lost at 75% for the first year, 50% for the second year, and 25% for the third year before being completely phased out.
Will you read that again?
For funding purposes, if the enrollment drops more than 5% below the previous fiscal year, it restores some of the funding that would have been lost at 75% for the first year of the loss, 50% for the second year, and 25% for the third year before being completely phased out.
Okay, so I was wrong. It's not 75% for the third year. It's 25% for that range. What I don't know is how that range changes, or if that stays the same from 164. So I was working with our ASD budget people, and I said, okay, explain this to me so that I can be clear on this. So, and I said that a few times, and there were a few explanations. And so from 164.26 to 184.45 students, we only get 50% of our BSA for this next school year. So currently we're in year 1. Next year we'll be in year 2, and the year after that we'll be in year 3. So we'll only get 25% of that. And that, this is new. I don't know if ASD's ever received the hold harmless provision. Maybe they have, but it's definitely been a very long time since it has happened. And so it's new to everyone. I had no idea. And I'll be the first to say that. I should have done my homework and learned about the hold harmless. I did ask if there was a way to not accept the hold harmless, because it seems like it's holding us harmless. And
that's awesome.
It essentially, I mean, we really needed that this year. And if it wasn't for that, we would have a deficit, a very major deficit. So we need to plan for that in the future and make an even more robust marketing program.
So just to clarify, because it's confusing, hopefully I'm not the only one that finds it confusing, but so because we had projected this year, was it 200 and what did we project? 200?
This year we projected 195.
Okay. So then.
But we were 10 over projection when the school year started.
But it's about our projection, is that right? So if we're 5% below our projection, which obviously we're more than 5% below our projection. Mm-hmm. So 5% below our projection would have been 185.25. Is that right? 185 and a quarter kids?
Yeah.
So then, so then we need to stay at the 195 each year, and is that right in this provision, or each year?
We would not need to stay at the 195. The 195 is the magic number. They say, okay, we're going to project 195. And then ASD says, okay, boom, here's how much you have for your budget for this next school year based on your projection. And then, so then that all happens. We hire people, or, we make adjustments to our staffing as needed to fit within that projection. And then the real rubber hits the road in October when we have the OASIS count. And if we're below our projection for the OASIS count, then we owe money back to ASD. And if we're above, then we get surplus from ASD. So we were really excited because this year we were going to, for the first time in a few years, be over our projection. And projection is tricky because it involves staffing, it involves positions, it involves the people that do this great work. And so it can be really tricky because we don't know. And this year, more than any year, we don't know what to expect for next year.
And this hold harmless provision is because of the pandemic that it's available to us, or this is something that's been there and it kicks in regularly when you fall 5% below projection? But
Yeah,
most people haven't really known about it and been using it, or most people don't fall 5% below?
Well, I don't know about most people, but I know that ASD hasn't fallen below that far below in a long time. So it's written into state law, is my understanding. And Kelly Doherty probably knows more about this than I do because I don't have that article in front of me. And I started to read it, and I was like, I've got a plan for Q3. I can't learn this right now. But my understanding is that this is written into state law, and Jim might be able to answer this a little bit better. I don't know if rural communities rely on this hold harmless provision more than.
Yeah, we do. Sometimes we've tapped into that before in Bristol Bay and other places.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily just when ASD falls below, but when any school? Okay.
I think it's any district.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Any district specifically.
Yeah,
It has to be the whole district.
Yep.
It's a state level initiative.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I also have a clear. So, but what if we kick butt at our marketing and we're surprised and we get 190 students? Then we just get all of our money and we can party and it's all good?
Well, so the 20 students from 164 to 184, we only get 50% of that.
So there's no benefit to actually reaching our.
No, there is, because after 184.45, so our 185th student then gets full BSA.
Okay.
So that's why there's this pretty significant jump from, so if we project 185, we're only like 0.55 above that sweet spot, right, of getting 100%.
So Amy, you mentioned that this is was the first year we've actually been over the projection, but historically what's happened between the first day of school and count period? Like how many, do you typically gain a few? Do you usually lose a few? Like what happens? I remember one time you were talking about we lose a certain amount back to the neighborhood schools, and a few people do the state and stuff, but like what usually happens in that first month and a half of school?
You know what, I would say if I had to just make it a general statement, on average from year to year, we might gain 20 after the first day and between that last OASIS day, the first day of school and the last OASIS day, and then maybe lose 20. So there's a general fluctuation that tends to even itself out. So we're usually right on our projection. We're not too far off of it. And one of the reasons for that is Dr. Shapiro and I worked really hard to not just guess. You know, when he first started, he was like, what? I'm just supposed to throw a dart at the board? And it doesn't make sense. So we would put out surveys to find out what families were anticipating doing. And we did that. We've got an attrition rate percentage that we look at every year and try to, the more years that we have that, the more valid or accurate that prediction might be that we're looking at like an 8% attrition rate. And so we'll be using that data, but this year is such an outlier that even with those surveys, what do you think you'll do? Do you think you'll be back next year? Are you looking at a neighborhood school, or are you moving, or do you know, all of those surveys, we had good return rates on those surveys. And I don't think anyone realized that there would be so much turmoil and instability by July or August when people started to make those decisions. And, you know, I will be honest and say that as a parent, I did the same thing. I mean, I didn't want to deal with the yo-yo for my own child. And so he's at a correspondence school, an ASD correspondence school, because I just the up and down didn't seem in and out. Yes, we're going to school. No, we're not. Yes, we are. No, we're not. Or yes, we are. But now we have to close down. It just, I couldn't deal with that level of uncertainty and still do my job. So I think a lot of people were feeling that. And I wish that they'd realized that there were going to be some options for parents to do asynchronous work, or not the parents do the work, but the children to do the work, the students do the work. But I think there was some people got confused with ASD Virtual and Empower, and that's unfortunate because there were some real rough bumps with ASD Virtual.
Okay, any other discussion or comments? Okay, moving forward again. We'll vote on the motion there. All those in favor of the 195, say aye.
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 Oppose, nay. Okay, the ayes have it. So we've got a projection of 195 students.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So now, unless there are other comments on this, we can move to item C, APC goals, strategy, and action.
Yes, so I was really pleased that we would have so much time to work on this tonight. So when we left off at our last meeting, we didn't have a lot of time to review our APC goals, strategy, and action. And Laura, I'm not sure, I don't want to put you on the spot, but Laura has been facilitating this so fabulously. And Laura and I didn't sync up on this, but Laura, did you want to guide us through the next step in that?
Got it. Yeah, for sure. Well, and we didn't get to it last time, but so we had already had kind of, or at least in my mind, we had a
okay, good.
Had a plan of action that just got fast forwarded to tonight. So, so yes, hi everyone. I am going to kind of refresh our memory. I think ideally we're looking at, it'd be real nice if that by the end of tonight's meeting, we leave with some solid, I think we have solid draft goals, but some solid plans to go along with those goals. So we're going to do a workshop. That's right. At the end of the meeting. It's a great time to workshop, you know, right? When your brain's all fresh. Oh yeah, let's do this. So let's get ready, but we're going to get into some small groups. Before we do that, I'm going to share my desktop and I am going to share the folder one more time just to make it easy for people who have maybe not been in the folder as of late. I'm going to, so Amy, I have the chat is to only 2 people on here, so I can't send the link. Do you know why that is?
Yes, I do. I will change that right now.
Okay.
Oh no, you should be
This
able
was
to.
the restricted meeting version.
Yeah, it's chat's disabled for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay, I will change that right
So is
now.
the hand raising, I think, too.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Okay. Well, everyone
Oh,
should
no,
be
it's
able to-
not. It's here.
I can send you the link, Amy, and then maybe you can send it out to everyone, but it's.
No, you should be able to chat now. I just changed it.
Oh, there it goes. Okay. Here it comes. Here's the link. So grab that if you need it. I am going to refresh our memories very briefly and then talk about what we can do in our groups with, of course, you adding on to that thinking. Could you give me sharing my screen capabilities, pretty please?
Yep, and I'm adding breakout rooms right now.
Awesome.
Great, you got
So
it.
try to remember the group you were working in, right? We were all in small groups and everybody was working on one of the goal topics. So we have an all-in-one form that I wrote up that just basically has all of our goals in one. Hence the title, All in One. And these are the draft goals where we kind of left off. Now, in your groups, in your template, what you also have, each team was working on a template where you were brainstorming. But what you also have at the bottom of your template is feedback from other members of the board. If you recall, we kind of floated around, we toured the other goals, and we gave each other feedback using the Win, Wonder, Suggest protocol. So when I went in and I looked at that feedback, and right now we're looking at family involvement, in some cases, the feedback gave that team ideas for actions and not necessarily just feedback on the goal. So that's one morsel, is that to the degree that you can remember or the degree you need to, when we get into to get into our teams, I'd like everyone to check the feedback out just to inform your thinking. When we scroll back up here, you will remember that we were working on this kind of action plan, mini action plan for our goals. So you're going to want to check out your goal statements. And again, if you want, you can check them out in that all-in-one. I just copied and pasted. But on your template, you have your goal statements. So after you review the feedback, I would double check that you're happy with your goals. And the next thing that we're going to think about are the actions and strategies. And I'm going to demonstrate, I'm going to show you an example because one of, I believe it was the committee team, has some actions and strategies in their action plan. So they had started thinking about what are the steps we want to take in order to accomplish our goal. And I know I don't have a slide and I'm talking a lot, so bear with me. So first thing, we are looking at our feedback. We're double checking we're happy with our goals. Next thing, we're going to start, what are the actions or strategies that we want to put into play? And the final thing that you want to try to accomplish are your look-fors. How will we defend that we have met our goal? Is it going to be a product? Is it going to be data? I mean, what are the things so that when we are in our meetings, and let's just pretend it's our March meeting and we're going to do a goal update around our goals. Well, what would be the data that we'd want to say, yeah, we are making progress. Here's how we know. And that each goal, you could have one or two look-fors. It depends on the goal. So essentially for about 20 minutes-ish, we are going to try to fill out the actions and the look-fors. With me so far? All right. So your templates are in there. And the other thing I'm going to just kindly remind you is that if you need to, set up some roles for this very small amount of time so that we are efficient. At a minimum, obviously, you're going to have a note taker. But I'm going to coach us. It is 7:05. I am thinking we work till 7:25, unless you're going to push back on me. We come back and we do a flash round share out. So somebody, your spokesperson, is going to share a highlight from what happened in the next 20 minutes. Questions? Tell me,
I
back.
was just gonna say, I know there were 3 of us that met, I think, last time, and I wasn't here for the very, very first one. So I think there's only 2 of us from what I knew last time from my group, which was the family involvement. I don't know if there's another person who's also worked with that group who just wasn't here last time.
What was my group? Wasn't that family involvement?
Maybe you might have, I think Brenda, I know Brenda, myself, and Annie met last
And
time.
let me know that she couldn't be here tonight. She wanted to,
But I missed
So
the very first time. So Alex, you might have been there the very first time and then maybe weren't in our group last time. That might be it.
Yeah, because I wasn't in that group the very first week or very first
You weren't
one.
either? Okay. So we just went where we wanted last time.
I've been in 2 different groups.
Right. And I think there are goals, so I think we can just flex. I think as long as we're kind of divided and conquering, I'm fine being flexible too.
Well, and we have 12 members here tonight, and then there are 3 students here tonight. So I don't know if the students who are joining us are going to join in the groups or how that will be.
I think that's going to be up to them. Otherwise, I mean, I'll leave that choice up to them, I think.
Can we just pick our own, if we know what group we were in or what group we want to be in? How do we get into that? Do we tell somebody?
So let's do this. I'll go through each one. I'll say community family, and you just say your name and I'll put you in that room.
Perfect.
Does that work? Okay. So we'll start with community and family. I've got Alex, Brenda, and Shelly.
Sounds good.
Sorry, I missed that. Good. Okay. Student progress.
Me.
This is Jim. I'd like to be in there.
Performance, that's the performance one. Oh, I'm in there.
I'm pretty sure I was in there as well.
All right, Joey.
All right.
Miss Doherty, you too, or no?
Megan.
Megan, okay. Okay, so I've got Megan, John, Joey, and Laura. Did I miss anyone?
Is there another John? You don't mean me, John.
Oh,
It was Jim.
Jim, sorry. I thought John said two. I am moving Jim there now. Okay, John is in committee then?
Yes.
Okay, so for committee, I've got Todd, John, Kelly, and Ulf.
Awesome.
Okay.
And Amy, if you could close the rooms at 7:25, that would be awesome.
All right, let me change that real quick. Because now we're down to.
And again, just make sure somebody's ready to do a flash share out for the rest of us when we come back.
Please make it flash.
That's right. 25.
All right. See you later.
Okay.
Workshop it out.
Oh yeah. Wait, I'm still here.
Yeah, the join disappeared. Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is. It popped.
All right. Hey, you guys.
Hi.
Thanks for being here tonight and staying here.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what just happened. But if it's
So-
something I should do, you can go ahead and.
No, so
Sign me up.
what we're doing right now is actually based on a board self-evaluation that took place in May, where the board members looked through a rubric and decided where we fell on that rubric for each of the things. I think there were 8 indicators, like 8 standards, essentially. And they chose three of those 8 that needed improvement. And so those 3 now are going through this goal setting process where we're writing goals and then giving each other feedback on the goals and then writing up next steps. So one of those goals was community and family involvement and making sure that we're, as a board, not necessarily as a school, but as a board, involving the community and families and inviting them to participate in board initiatives and board things. And then also the flip side of that, where the board is involved in the community and family work that's going on. So there, sometimes you'll see board members walking around at lock-ins or school dances just to participate in Highland activities. The second one was monitoring student progress, and that really falls on my shoulders in terms of getting that information to the board, because student progress data isn't something that everyone has access to. So that's why we start off our board meetings with celebrations. They want to see student progress in more ways than just like MAP growth scores or iReady scores. And then the third one was committee work. So sometimes when there's an initiative for the board, like Robert and Orlandis, I'm not sure if you were here for this, but we were looking at moving to a different building. Yeah, you were here, Robert, and you were too, Orlandis. So the board had a special committee, and they met once or twice a month and outside of the APC meetings, and their job was to look at all the factors involved with moving a building and where we wanted to move. And so this committee work then is reported back to the APC every meeting. But we don't always need committees. Sometimes we've got 4 committees, sometimes we don't have any. It just depends on what's going on in the world. So everyone is in their sessions right now, and they are evaluating their goals and looking at the feedback that they gave each other on their goals and revising and setting an action plan.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm going to actually join a room because they just asked for help. So I'll be right back. Do you guys all know each other?
I mean, I definitely know Orlandis. Yeah.
Yes. You guys are in pre-calculus together. And this is Kyra, right? Not Kira, Kyra. Yes, nailed it. And this is Kyra's first year. She's in student government, and she is helping plan the lock-in, and has done a fabulous job communicating with me to make sure everyone knows about it. So Kyra, this is Orlandis and Robert. I'll be right back.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Orlandis, you surprised me, man. Once she said that other girl dropped out, I thought it was just an easy nomination.
I didn't know this was a thing until maybe last week. So she kind of just asked me, "Hey, we got this thing going on. Do you want to join?" I was like, "Okay."
I mean, there you go. Yeah. I was thinking about that, the RWDC, but I don't know anything about it, so.
Nobody does, and I think that's kind of the appeal sometimes. I'm not sure what all this being a student member entails. I don't know if I might be out for it or not. Maybe you guys could might be able to outdo me, but I guess we'll see who they pick. No.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Yeah. Seems pretty complicated.
Yeah.
All that.
So I mean, like, what do you do in RWDC?
RWDC.
Yeah.
We've been slacking so far, but typically you design an aircraft, and but you go through picking parts, sort of developing your own shape. Maybe you look at some designs from last year's competition or some drone designs you already know of. Develop a notebook around it, and there's like an 80-page notebook you got to fill out. Yeah, and you go through a business case and all that, and how the money's made. You try to make a drone that'll make a company money by delivering packages. You're basically doing free labor for Amazon, maybe. Your design
It's
wins.
like Lego robotics times a bazillion, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of the same concept, though. Where you're given a challenge and you have to engineer something.
is there a specific teacher that's working with it, like Keller B or?
Keller B is our coach on paper for now. Yeah. Sometimes we've had Carter come and help us out with some things, but like you might have past members help you out sometimes, but and it's just a few members. Yeah.
Who's on the team this year, Orlandis? I should know. Is it you and Katerina and Sarah?
It was me, Sarah. It was me, Danica, Liam, Steven, and Robin, FK, Robert did well. At first, I think Liam and Danica dropped out, or not dropped out.
Stopped.
Moved on to other things. Yeah.
Liam Orr?
Liam Reeves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That would have been cool if Liam Orr did it.
Hasn't Sarah graduated?
No, Sarah's got enough credits to graduate, but she decided to stick around next semester and take some college classes instead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how old she is. I
Improve her
just know
grades.
that she's been here for a while.
Is it Sarah Lega?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's here this year.
That'd be cool if she did RWDC.
She's done it before.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. She went to DC and everything. That must have
Team's
been
probably
the year you weren't here, Orlandis.
right. Oh, huh. I guess I missed a lot. Huh. I imagine the teams used to be a lot bigger.
They've always been pretty small.
Right.
I think the first year we did it, yeah, we might have had 6 people, and they tried to do 2 teams.
That's funny.
Yep.
I don't know if we actually have proper competition up here. So
I wonder about that, but I don't wonder too loudly about that because you guys have rocked it we're like 13 years in a row or something crazy.
Yeah.
Where Highland has taken state for that. So you're right. I don't know, but I do know there need to be at least 3 contestants.
numbers, yeah.
Yep.
So, Miss Johnson, I noticed this like the past couple times I've been in meetings with you. That painting behind you, it's like super familiar, and I feel like it was like an artist or a writer that came to town or something and was giving away like signed books or something.
Yeah, she lives here. She lives in Anchorage.
Okay.
And the book she's written 2 kids books that I know of. She might have written more. But it's called Signor Greve and Celli. And so they're like, he's like an Italian guy. That's an original though. But yeah, I like her work and I like her books. She's
Yeah,
very
it looks
creative.
nice.
And I love the desert and I love riding my bike and I guess I love my dog. But I like dogs. No, I love my dog. I shouldn't say I guess I love my dog. But yeah, thanks.
Bikes are awesome. I'm sad that we're not having intensives this year because I'm gonna miss Mr. Robinson's mountain biking intensive.
I know.
Sounds pretty fun.
Yep. Good times. I know. I'd always watch you guys leaving and with your bikes.
We got back
sad.
late like every day.
Every time. I know. It worked out okay though. But I know it's a bummer we can't have intensives. But we might be able to have them in May.
Yeah.
I really, for the first time, I'm actually optimistic about coming back that we'll actually get to do it. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's
what
good.
happens with this vaccine and if we can get this thing under control.
Right. Yeah, Orlandis, I mean, RWC sounds cool, but to be honest, right now I'm thinking about maybe taking some type of college course or early honors or something. I don't know. It's very complicated.
Yeah. All the power
So,
to you.
Yeah.
I don't even know the benefits of really being in something like RWDC. I just know good for experience, I guess.
Yeah, if you ever need to make a plane.
A plane, yeah. I don't plan on it, but
You
man,
got
it's
it
fun.
covered.
It can be
Yeah.
pretty fun
You want me to
sometimes.
make a plane? I can make a plane. You get credit too, depending on what you do.
Yeah, you do.
Elective credit, and you usually get a free trip to Washington, D.C.
Usually.
unless there's a pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But such is life. At least everyone was safe. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd love to see Lego robotics start back up too. That's a cool program.
I didn't know it stopped. I thought that was
Yeah, we didn't have it last year because we didn't have a teacher who was willing to spend the time to do it. It takes a lot of time.
right.
Yep.
I thought it stopped with Miss Withers.
No, Miss Lee took it on for a couple of years, and then she was like, "I just want to knit and be with my horse. What am I doing? I need to leave school when school's over."
I thought Kellaby was the designated coach, but I guess I was wrong.
Well, then he took on RWDC. So before him, who was it? Mr. Johnson? Do you guys remember Mr. Johnson?
I thought it was Frame.
No,
I thought he said,
language arts teacher? No, before Miss
No.
Kelly or Miss. Oh yeah, Frame did it for a couple years. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, so we're lucky Mr. Kelly took it on. You got to keep those programs alive. Kyra, have you done any extracurricular clubs?
What? I didn't hear it.
Have you done any extracurricular clubs or activities? Like, have you ever done Lego robotics or?
No.
No.
No, not really. Unless you're talking about my old school, but.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like in my whole school career, yes, I've done like choir, but not really anything too big. I don't do that much. I mean, I like working with engines, but that's pretty it.
With engines?
I like working on anything like mechanical.
Oh, cool. Did you guys know, here's some Highland trivia for you. Before you guys started at Highland, so it's probably in 2012, we had, the principal at that time said, okay, you guys, there were a couple kids that really wanted to have a mechanics intensive. So they brought in an engine for a car and they cleared out the storage room, and it's got concrete floors, it's not carpet. And they spent hours and hours and hours in there rebuilding an engine in the storage room for an intensive.
I wish I was there.
Yeah,
I don't think they actually got it working again. I don't know if they were successful in the rebuild, but they sure tinkered around a lot and tried to get it to work. It was intense. But the sky's the limit for intensives.
I imagine we could do something like that with computers, if not something as crazy. But
yeah,
I think Grant talked about doing something like that, or that he
did do something like that.
Yeah.
They did a Raspberry Pi intensive, right? Where they made Raspberry Pis. Is that what they're called?
Yeah, the tiny little
computers.
Boards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure do wish I was there. Well.
Yep.
I don't understand computers at all. Like I just don't get them. I know how to use them, but that's it.
There's video games to help you learn how to build computers.
Really?
And you play computers on the computers. Yeah. Like playing video games then, if you think about it like that.
Yeah, but see, why would I do that when I could just talk to Grant and he could solve it all for me?
He does know a lot.
Because wouldn't it be cool to be that guy that people call you and ask you questions about it?
I don't know. I feel like I'd get tired of it at some point.
What
Yeah.
Mr. Robinson's having him build his computer or something like that. Meet Mr. Robinson's son. He knew how to build a computer. So you're missing out.
Yep.
Yeah, he was also talking about he built PCs for both of the Sweetman brothers.
Yeah. I didn't know they were gamers. Wonder how they're doing.
Yeah, I haven't seen them lately. I did talk to Elias and I've emailed a little bit with Deacon, but I think Deacon is applying for UAA next semester or has applied for UAA. So that's good. And when I last talked to them, they both had full-time jobs doing cool stuff. So hopefully they're doing all right. Yep. It is good to check in with people who graduated though. Nice to hear from them. Speaking of which, Lily Sporowski usually comes to these meetings. I haven't seen her in a while. Need to check in on her. Ooh, that'd be fun to have alumni part of that virtual tour. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, some of them have went to Highland for a long time.
Mm-hmm. And they see life on the outside, right?
Yeah, afterwards.
Yep. I don't mean on the outside like you guys are in prison or anything, but you know what I mean.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that'd be really cool. That's a good idea. These guys just gave me an awesome idea, sort of. We were talking about alumni and just certain people. And I thought, why not have them on the virtual tour too?
Yes, they would love that.
We'll get Gary back, Tina.
I just think of everyone who came to that. We had 2 reunions. We had the blended years. I mean, any of those that would be great. Oh, that was so fun.
Yeah. I missed that reunion. I think we had a lock-in that night.
Oh, I know. And there was a big debate about which years were coming to which one. But yeah, it all worked out. Okay, you probably should close. Did you close the rooms?
Yeah, but not everybody's back. It's probably giving them a 60-second countdown.
Oh yeah. That's a
Maybe,
great
maybe they
idea.
said leave meeting instead of leave room.
Oh yeah, that happens a lot. I've done that.
Oh yeah. Yep. It'd be cool to get like alumni quotes that you could interweave, like what you were saying with the parents.
Yeah.
You interweave them into the tour with a picture or whatever. I mean, every time I run into them around town, they always say, I need to start writing stuff down, you know, because they always say, it's like, oh, I can use that. All right, welcome back, everyone. Spokespersons, spokespeople, are you ready to give us a quick just highlight? And I'm going to start. I will share the love by starting. This is not a playbook on everything you did. This is just big picture what happened in your 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes. So for the performance team, we were able to revise our goal because we got feedback that the first goal on student progress was not a board goal. It was basically a goal that said, Amy, could you give us more information? So we revised that, and that is in the all-in-one for your review, and it is much better. That's the big highlight. The second celebration, which I'm going to read it to you. I suppose I should do that. The board would like to increase or will increase their awareness of student performance. So we started unpacking that, how we're going to prove that we're going to do that. The second highlight is that we got look-fors written for both of our goals. Woo, woo. Okay. I'm going to pick on family involvement to go next.
All right. Well, since I'm the only one that has what we typed in front of me, I think I'll go ahead and share. We started by looking at the feedback and trying to find where to fit that in to each of the questions or ideas. That way we didn't miss that. So we did get as far as we wanted. And our goals aren't smart yet, but working with, we looked at having a survey out to Highland families to ask about business connections that could be helpful for job shadowing and or business partnerships, school business partnerships. Surveying families to identify how their preferences for prioritizing community family work session preferences. I was starting to add a piece when we got cut out, maybe asking each teacher to find 5 families that will commit, or 5 students, or both, who will commit to recruiting at least maybe, I don't know, 3 families, something like that. And we did do the look fors. We started adding, you know, X number of business partnerships secured by X date. We definitely didn't have specifics. And X number of students who have received job shadowing opportunities. And so it's kind of as much as we got. We needed way more time.
I know. Well, goal setting's a journey. Action planning, a journey, always. Thank you. That's awesome. Last but not least, committees.
Yeah, okay, so we started by reviewing and making sure we were still on the same page as far as our goal statements, and we have 2 to concentrate on common procedure and conduct, to conduct and report meetings, and a targeted collaborative tools to further committee work. We spent a good chunk of time reviewing and expanding the actions and strategies. The big new addition is we decided we're going to utilize asynchronous time through shared Google Docs to continue committee work between APC meeting dates. So we're going to keep going with this, and there's a commitment from the 4 of us to share a few thoughts and read and let it accumulate over the next 3-4 weeks before we meet again. And then a good amount of additional thinking went into look fors nothing is done, but it's becoming, it's like getting clearer and clearer what we got to do. And so I think it was very productive. The look fors and the actions and strategies will be clearly developed by time we meet next time, and we'll have a way to share that information out with you before the next meeting as a goal.
Awesome, committees. Thank you for that. And per their leadership, my push was going to be, you just read my mind, that each committee, each team, you guys, we get into our communication realms before our next meeting, which somebody helped me with that date, that we have touch base with our teammates and we further unpack that plan so that it's at least enough so that committees can act on it. Make sense? Okay. And again, it's the goals, the strategies, the look fors. That's where we're going with that. So if everybody could hold themselves accountable to communicate with your team and work on those pieces to get those cleaned up, that would be awesome. Questions? What are we forgetting?
So just to clarify, just to clarify, are we to meet as a group via Zoom before the next meeting to try and get everything cleared up and almost finalized?
My thinking was that you would do that synchronously with your teammates, email, and do what you can. That's my thinking. You could choose to meet as a small team, though. You could certainly do that.
It's part of the mission of the charter, so should we make a formal motion or not? I don't know. Just for my note taking. Are we making a motion?
You're awesome. That's a good question. I don't think it needs a motion because it's. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think it does.
Yeah. I think it was just an ask from Laura.
Cool. Yeah, I think it's just keep focusing on the document.
January.
Get it done.
Yeah, we need to get them done, and it doesn't mean the goals are going to end at the end of this school year either. So keep that in mind. But I think to start actionizing, it would be nice to get the plan undone or get the plan done.
I have a new guy question.
Go,
Do the
Todd.
non-ASD employee board members check their ASD email? And is that how I communicate with them? Okay. Or is there a contact list that is your go-to contact that I need to get? Because I don't know how to contact John and all. I work with Kelly.
Yeah, everyone has an ASD email account, with the exception of Alex. For some reason, yours didn't get updated, I don't think. I would get bounced back for you, Alex. But we can work on that.
Okay.
But yeah, we've got a group called HAC.
It's a long acronym.
Yeah.
It's the HAPAC.
Yeah, HAPAC.
Yeah, but I did see, so I would maybe ask, request, I did see some body language that responded, no, I don't check my ASD email often. So either you do or you send me your contact information.
That's fair enough.
Fair, Todd.
Okay.
So we have an agreement. I think we're going to own a little accountability to help each other finish our goal plans prior to next meeting. Right on. Anything else on that part?
Is it okay to peek on some of the other subject areas and add some stuff as we see them or think about it too? It seems like that would be a good idea.
Sure. Of course, yes. I think
so. Maybe if we all just take a peek at all three of them and add things where it seems appropriate.
Absolutely. And I'm going to I'm going to transfer once it's ready. We're going to have a clean sheet where it's all on one, just for sharing purposes, if anything, because, the action plans can get a little like, oh, there's all kinds of stuff in there. So I'll do that later. But yeah, I think we can take a tour of the others.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks so much, everyone.
I will. And Annie's the only one not here tonight. Is that right? I think so. I can go ahead and have her email. If I have her email, I can get it, but I can send her, since she was originally in our group, the link to ours and then the reminder of the link to the whole thing.
Thanks, Shelley. That'd be great.
Thanks,
Shelley. I think you have a lot going on, Amy.
That'd be awesome. I appreciate that.
Awesome.
All right. I think
do we need a motion to adjourn?
Need a motion to adjourn.
I will move.
Well, wait, before we do that.
Oh, no. Oh, my God. No.
Okay. So one of the things that we've been doing for a few years now with staff meetings is following the Excel model, and Excel is an acronym, and the L stands for launch. And so I'd like to end tonight with a launch, if you're okay with that. Kelly Doherty has a video. Is it video or just audio, Kelly?
Oh, you're muted.
It's a video.
Okay. And it's like 2 minutes, right?
It's 46 seconds.
Okay.
This semester I'm doing a poetry elective, and it's one of the classes that I am privileged as a teacher to be able to teach, because being able to read and write poetry with students is a way to really get to know them on a whole different level than practicing grammar rules. So I invited them to share one of their poems that they had written in a video format. And so this is one that's been submitted. This is a poem that Nepeta wrote, and she has created this video to go with it. So, I guess I have to share my screen, make sure that it's at the beginning. All right. Can you see that? It's good? Okay.
Weathering by NLH. I opened my windows for a sudden summer storm, thunderous and thrilling, like the ones we loved to form. We braid around each other, complementary and matching, shining, shifting side by side. Arms wide, chests open, laughing. My words are like a bower, a follow-through of things I've found, Raindrops on a metal roof, loving puddles all around. How we dance like lightning skies in fields or forests under bluer night, to songs of sorrow and jubilee, telling tales of shadow and sunlight. And when I'm alone, we come. Happy memories cascade like hail, and thoughts of the future grow. Us three together, away we sail.
Bravo.
Very good. Very good.
Very nice.
So cool. I love it. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
We should do all meetings like that, with that type of input. All
like
right.
it. It's especially fun when I've known that person since she was like 2.
So, Laura, do you have any more words of wisdom before we move to our next item? Nothing?
Nope. I think we're all
Okay.
good. We're all wisdom. All of us are wisdomed out with our own wisdoms, thoughts of wisdom. We're good.
So, if anyone else have any words they need to bring forth before we adjourn this august meeting? Okay. Well, moving
I
on
make
to.
a motion, we adjourn.
There you go.
Second it.
You got the hint. Huh? Okay, a motion on the floor to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we got a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Well, that was quiet. Okay, we are officially adjourned.
Happy
Thanks,
All right.
everyone.
See you on the 21st.
Yeah. Happy holidays.
Bye.
Happy
Thanks,
holidays,
y'all.
care.
everybody.
See you guys
Take
later.
care.
Bye.
everyone.
All right.
Bye.
Oh, Amy, I guess I need to get hooked up with the email. The school district email. I don't know what happened to mine. It just kind of floated away.
I'll check with IT because I know you sent your form back to me.
Okay.
Because they all got shut down on June 30th.
Right.
So we had to renew all that. So now I know we have to do that every year.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I didn't know I had one. I know I sent in the paperwork, but that was about it.
Oh, okay. So closing the loop on that. So it's your last
That's
name
okay,
underscore first name at ASD. Here, I'll put it here.
Yeah,
That's
but I need
okay.
to have a way of getting into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't
And,
there a
and I've
password?
been with the group for a couple of years, and yeah, I still haven't done mine.
You better get. We got. Oh, Brenda, you and I and Shelley got to get together here sometime before this thing, right? We got to
Yeah,
have.
and
Yeah.
well, they said we could just do it via email and everything.
Right,
So that might be easier.
Yeah.
Either way, whichever is easiest for everyone, I was just going to email you guys the link. That way, and just so that you have it easy. And Brenda, I was just going to use your mama Biddy because that seemed easy. And Alex,
That's fine.
I've got
You
you
know
at
I'll check that one.
msn.com. And then Annie.
Yeah, we
What
need
is
to include
Annie's?
Annie because she was in our group last time.
Yeah, Amy, do you have hers? And then I can
Yeah,
get hers.
she does.
Okay.
She does check that.
Her
Put it in the
email.
chat box.
And while Amy's looking up her email, Ulf, I was just gonna